I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
And I come to find out there's not that much Hollywood in Hollywood. The Hollywood in my mind is not the Hollywood in real life. I want to talk about things. If Bill Cosby is accused of sedating and raping all these women, and it's the #1 story in the news, I want to talk about that, yes. You know, celebrity culture has, I think, collapsed at this point, and I think that's a death that needed to happen, you know, because the amount of excess, the amount of debauchery is stunning.
Y'all, after 30 years of keeping some of Hollywood's darkest secrets hidden, Rosie O'Donnell is finally speaking out. And what she is saying about Ellen DeGeneres and that infamous Epstein Island is far more disturbing than anyone expected.
He asked her, and Kelly and I were in bed watching it, and he asked her, whatever happened to Rosie O'Donnell? Her show went down the tubes. And Ellen said, I don't know, Rosie. We're not friends. And that was like one of the most painful things that ever happened to me in show business in my life.
As Ellen DeGeneres' daytime empire grew into massive mainstream success, the doors to those powerful inner circles didn't just open, they pulled her in completely. And Rosie O'Donnell watched that change happen in real time. She saw someone she once knew slowly drift away, quietly cutting off the regular people who were there before the fame, before the power, before the billion-dollar status. Suddenly, Ellen wasn't just famous. She was moving differently, surrounded by private jets, secret gatherings, and isolated island parties no one openly talked about. Rosie understood exactly what that shift meant. She saw where it was heading, but she stayed quiet, keeping it inside while everything around her changed. Then came 2004 when Ellen appeared on Larry King Live with Larry King. During that interview, Rosie's name came up, her show, her moment, her presence. That was the opportunity, the one chance to show loyalty, to recognize the past, to stand beside someone who had been there from the beginning. But what Ellen chose to say instead didn't just miss the moment, it completely broke it, leaving Rosie shocked in a way she never expected.
Just right away, there was a different culture about celebrity. Broke my heart to be in a business that creates and sells those lives for profit. You know, it was very heavy, to tell you the truth. And I knew in order for me to be a good parent to this 12-year-old child that I've got to be around for 20 more years. I need to take care of my...
Just like that, 30 years of loyalty broke in one cold sentence. And from that moment on, Rosie O'Donnell was done. Not just done with Ellen DeGeneres, but done staying silent. She carried truths about Ellen's new world that no one else ever spoke about. She had seen the private flights, the hidden circles, and most importantly, she knew what was really happening on Epstein Island.
Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials. You know, flight logs, communications, third-party interviews, peripheral...
This common thread that everyone told me is that what goes on behind the scenes is a far cry from what the show represents in their Be Kind messaging and what the show and what Ellen DeGeneres herself.
For years, Rosie watched Ellen dance on television, giving out gifts and acting like the kindest person in the world. And all that time, the pain from that betrayal never left. She felt deeply hurt and betrayed. But then last year, Rosie O'Donnell did something nobody expected. She moved to Ireland, and once she settled there, she posted a long message on Instagram. Right next to it, she shared a photo of Jeffrey Epstein. That was her signal, her way of showing she was ready to speak about what was happening on Epstein Island while exposing those connected to that network. Ellen DeGeneres saw it coming and knew exactly what it meant. She knew what Rosie might reveal. So in an attempt to appear supportive, Ellen shared Rosie's post publicly with a caption saying, "Good for you, Rosie." After ignoring her for 20 years, rejecting their friendship on national TV, and cutting her off from Hollywood, Ellen was now acting like a supportive friend. But it didn't work. Newly released Epstein files started connecting dots people couldn't ignore. Ellen's name appeared in those files, and people began asking questions she had spent years avoiding.
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
And so we call it. I call it facial, and I think when you see how good it is to your face, you too will run to your local facialist and say, "Give me the."
When the Epstein files came out and people started examining them, what surfaced was shocking. Testimonies that challenged everything Ellen had presented about herself.
Image of the temple that was on the island. Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
For years, every single day, she sat on that stage with a big smile, telling people to be kind, respect each other, and spread positivity. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, she was living a completely different life. She became so confident in her position that she stopped hiding it carefully. And the Sandra Bullock segment is where things became especially strange. During that interview, Ellen and Sandra talked about a beauty treatment made from young human skin cells.
I'm going to start selling some things that I consider art. Because, you know, they're art. It just depends on if you're the first to put it out. That's how you kind of establish something.
Looking back now, it feels like they were hinting at something darker on live television, thinking no one would understand what they meant. But they were wrong. People who started digging deeper also found alleged links between Ellen DeGeneres and the Wayfair cabinet controversy. For those unfamiliar, Wayfair is a large online retailer, and for a time, certain cabinets were listed at extremely high prices that didn't make sense. We are talking about tens of thousands of dollars for items that should cost only a few hundred. What drew even more attention was that these cabinets had names matching real missing children. Online theories spread, suggesting possible money laundering and even more disturbing claims. Some reports connected these ideas to illegal activities, with Ellen's name allegedly appearing in discussions. Then there was the design comparison, where viewers noticed similarities between structures on Epstein Island and the Ellen DeGeneres show set. And to many, those similarities stood out clearly.
According to TMZ, she has moved 2 hours outside of...
Ellen DeGeneres didn't just run a TV studio. Some believe she recreated something much more unsettling, a reflection of her private world placed in Los Angeles with similar design and atmosphere. When Rosie O'Donnell began hinting that the truth was coming out, Ellen recognized the situation immediately. She knew everything she had built and protected for years was now at risk. What followed wasn't strategy, it was panic. Ellen understood time was no longer on her side. She had faced backlash before, especially when her show was called a toxic workplace. She lost deals and partnerships but treated it like a small issue. However, she knew any link to Epstein would be far more serious. This wasn't about workplace complaints anymore. This was about something that could lead to legal consequences. The pressure grew quickly, and she needed to act before authorities could step in. Her accounts, properties, and assets could be frozen at any moment. So she began moving the way powerful people do when they feel pressure building.
The makeup artist was quoted as saying that when he tried to make small talk with Ellen, she supposedly said, "Who do you think you are? Don't look at..."
This wasn't a normal sale where you wait for the best offer. It was a rushed sell-off, letting go of assets as fast as possible. She sold around $10 million worth of art, including pieces by well-known artists whose work sells for millions. She also sold custom sculptures worth huge amounts. Letting go of these items must have been difficult, but she needed cash quickly. Her California estate was listed and sold for $96 million. It was one of the biggest parts of her property holdings. They were clearing out everything. Another home was listed, removed, and then relisted at different prices before dropping back down because they wanted a quick sale. At that point, profit didn't matter. They just needed money fast. When they relocated, they needed an explanation. So Ellen blamed the presidential election, saying she felt disappointed and wanted to leave the country.
I just wanted to say the past 11 days have been really tough for everyone. But to honor Twitch, I think the best thing that we can do is to laugh and hug each other.
But that explanation doesn't hold up. Reports show Ellen and Portia had already bought a home in rural England months before the election. The political reasoning was just a cover story. They weren't leaving because of politics. They were leaving because they knew the Epstein files were about to come out and feared what might happen next. Even before all of this, cracks in Ellen's public image had already started showing. Back in 2020, investigations into her show revealed a toxic workplace environment. Employees described strict rules, even saying they couldn't make eye contact with her. Some claimed she spoke harshly to staff. Once these stories came out, several celebrities confirmed similar experiences, saying her behavior was widely known in Hollywood but rarely discussed openly.
He was going through so much, and he was hiding so much, and there must have been a lot of shame in that, and he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put.
Stephen Tewich's boss worked as the DJ on Ellen's show for years. When the workplace controversy happened, Ellen reportedly pushed him to defend her publicly. His wife later suggested that the pressure and stress from that situation may have affected him deeply.
The second you hear that it may be coming, get out of the way.
Wow.
Don't wait.
In December 2022, Tewich passed away. After the show ended, he reportedly struggled with the impact of everything that had happened. There is also the case of Anne Heche, Ellen's former partner, who died in a car accident in 2022. Reports later suggested she may have been working on a project that could reveal details about her past experiences before her death.
Broke up with her because she had a lot of money, or you broke up with her because...
I broke up with her because her goal was to have a lot of money, and mine was to find love, and hers was I want 60 billion. Good luck. Our forks are never going to meet. The further we stay on with this, the further we...
The way Ellen treated some guests has also been questioned. Justin Bieber appeared on her show when he was very young, and during interviews, she asked him about personal topics that seemed to make him uncomfortable.
Talking about just it being a new chapter for me, and basically saying that I'm sorry for the stuff that I've done, and it's not like I'm not searching for people's approval, but I just want people to know that that's not me, and I was doing stuff that...
Some believe she pushed boundaries to see how far she could go with younger or less powerful guests. She also had connections with major figures in entertainment, joking about controversial topics in ways that raised concerns. Some people claim she acted as a gatekeeper, connecting rising talent to powerful circles.
Show a picture of you at, was it like a 70s themed birthday party? Or was that just a look that you decided to go with that night?
It was a 70 themed Soul Train party, but this is me once, every first week of the month on a Friday night.
What are you holding there?
I'm holding my package.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Somebody's...
Joe Rogan also commented on this, saying Ellen's kind personality often felt forced, like an act rather than something genuine.
One's rough. Ellen is like an old, but it's a rough one now. It's a rough one now because she was running Abu Ghraib in the back of her.
He described a pattern among some Hollywood elites where they act as if they are above normal rules. When placed alongside everything else, that perspective starts to make more sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
You see, like, a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all. She doesn't seem nice, but that people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced.
While Ellen stayed in her home in England, media outlets tried to downplay the situation, saying her name was just one among many in the Epstein files. But many people don't accept that explanation. Being included in such a network is not random. Access to those circles is usually limited. Critics say the media often tries to confuse the situation by presenting multiple explanations, making the truth harder to see. This creates doubt and makes people question whether they are overthinking things.
I don't think Hollywood's really ready for her return. I think they will continue to punish her, but I do have some intel for you from her current neighbors in the UK. They don't like her. They aren't friendly towards her, and they hate all of the celebrities like Ellen moving into this once sacred and anonymous area and disturbing and in some cases disrespecting.
Still, over time, the truth tends to come out. Rosie O'Donnell, by moving to Ireland, placed herself outside Hollywood's direct influence. She is no longer within the same system or pressure. She made it clear she is not afraid to speak.
The beast we're fighting is not just that round guy in an orange spray tan. It's a big cabal of powerful white men, and it's time to end it.
When she posted Epstein's image and stood firm despite criticism, it sent a strong message. She would not be silenced. Meanwhile, Ellen was selling assets and relocating while Rosie was building a quieter life away from it all. Rosie's actions suggest she wanted distance from what she sees as corruption and dishonesty. The real story here is not just about Ellen, but about someone who stayed silent for decades, finally choosing to speak. Ellen DeGeneres, once one of the most powerful figures in daytime television, now lives away from the spotlight in the English countryside. Far from the studios and cameras that built her career, she remains out of public view. What stands out most is that the narrative is no longer fully under control. People don't need a final verdict to see the situation unfolding. Her actions raise questions. Selling assets quickly, leaving the country, and stepping away from public life all point to concern about what may come next. The image she built over years has weakened. Now the focus shifts to a larger question. If this is how things end for her, who else knew and chose to stay silent?